Now it's time for I Challenge You 5Ds, the show that goes to show there really is a big difference between cards that are good and constructed and cards that are good and sealed. But wait, Shaman of the 10, he only has 1600 attack! Get owned! Absolutely devastated! Folks, this is why you don't activate Destrudo. Grab a synchro and jump on your duel runner because it's time to open packs, build decks with our pulls, and send our bots into all new forms of mechanized melee. We're hitting the road running this season with wild new blessings, even tougher challenges, and a ban list made to hit the gas on this format. So without further ado, let's rev it up. And welcome back. Why do I do the Mr. Beast thing every single time? Kings, queens, and monarchs of every element, I'm RJ, the jank monarch, and you are watching I Challenge You. Last week, we saw some of the most bizarre decks I think we've put together for this series, and this week, we are beyond Edison format. As Austin CK pointed out earlier, the Shining Darkness was what ended the greatest Yu-Gi-Oh format, nay, maybe the greatest TCG format of all time. We are now venturing into the unknown. Today we open the Shining Darkness, a few packs of Gold Series 3, and Hidden Arsenal 2. All of these I'm pretty excited for, but first, we have to see what blessings we can get. Last week, I purged the blessings of all of the old blessings, and now we are only in the future. Perhaps we will receive future visions. Let's spin that wheel. All right. Wow, I was actually exactly on the money. That is Future Visions. This is a slice on the wheel I'm actually very excited about. This is the second slice on our wheel where we are not receiving permanent free cards. In Future Visions, I am allowed to choose one card from the future that directly supports whatever deck it is that I am running today, and I get to run 3 copies of that card. It is subject to a veto from chat if they vote a majority to not let me play that particular card. I will have to find a new one. However, I am very excited. So that's what's going on today. We are looking into the future. We are looking into the future of our games today. And I am looking into my future and foreseeing calamities. Oh, hey, look, I was right. Let's see what calamities we can receive. These are all bangers, by the way. I purged all the boring ones. And we get, oh no, this is going to be a hard one. This is Delinquent Duo. Delinquent Duo is a new calamity wherein whenever I make a deck, I have to make 2 decks with exclusive card pools. Basically, tag duels, but in a single duel format, and chat gets to choose which of the 2 decks I play. This is going to take a while. But before we can mess with all the wild deck building stuff we have coming up today, we have some packs to open. Beginning with the Shining Darkness, the pack that ended Edison format and introduced the first real modern deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! Infernities. Let's begin. Starting off with the Kawakimaru Shield, if I remember correctly, this is basically Kawakimaru Mirror Force, which is pretty cool. However, you have to have 2 or more iron cores in your graveyard, which we cannot do. Gen X Undyne is kind of cool. It can activate its effect to put a water monster into my graveyard to add a Gen X controller from deck to hand. Could be good if we're on a synchro deck. And there's Spore. Spore is a very cool plant tuner that we can play with. And Morphtronic Vacuumin, which is kind of relinquished, I guess. Leeching the Light is another very, very funny counter card. Pack number 2. Axe the Poomer. Sucks. The dick. Battery Band AAA is pretty cool. This lets you summon a Battery Band AAA from your hand or graveyard. This is going to be useful once we get Xyz monsters, but not great right now. There's Chaos Trap Hole and Leeching the Light, both very good cards against light decks specifically. There is Magic Triangle of the Ice Barrier. This card is very silly in Ice Barriers. I will tell you, if we get a significant Ice Barrier core, There's a world where we play it just for the memes. Oh, also Ronin Totem, which I'm not going to play because, again, I have refused to play frogs, and a Gen X controller, which is great. Flare Resonator is a not good resonator. This isn't one of the good resonators, but there's a Battery Man Fuel Cell. I forgot about this card in this pack. Battery Men are very strong already, and if we get a few fuel cells, then we actually have very good reason to run them. Oh, there's Infernity Launcher. There's no way the AI can play this card. It just cannot. But if we got 3 of them, I'd try. Oh, there's a Damage Gate. Damage Gate is the card that I thought Damage Condenser was last time. It summons a monster from your graveyard when you take damage. Gen X Controller is very good. Kawaki Sandman is pretty good. And, of course, the Battery Man Fuel Cell. Very good stuff in this pack. Okay, there's an X-Saber Pashul. That's a pretty solid X-Saber monster. Ooh, okay, there's a Synchro monster. Chaos King Archfiend. Requires a Fiend-type tuner and then 1 or more non-tuner monsters. When it declares an attack, you can switch the current attack and defense of all face-up monsters your opponent controls until the end of the battle phase. This could be a problem versus certain cards, but it could also be very good against others. Dawn of the Herald, also a very cool card. We do have that double prep, which means that if we get to Herald of Perfection, maybe there's a world where we can play that. Hey, there's the 3rd Battery Man Fuel Cell. I didn't think we were going to be making Battery Men this week, but maybe I'm wrong. Ooh, Dread Dragon is kind of cool. When it's destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can add a level 3 or lower Dragon-type monster from your deck to your hand. It's not a great card, but it's pretty good for the AI. Under of Black Feathers is also a pretty cool card. While your opponent controls 2 or more face-up monsters, all of the same type, you can send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard to select and destroy 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. Very good against monotype decks. This pack is actually full of cool stuff. Spore, Gen X Undyne, Morphtronic Vacuum, and Hunter, X-Saber Pashul, Chaos Trapple. Just a great pack all around. We're halfway through the opening. We've seen a grand total of 1 holo, which is interesting. There are some pretty good ones in here, but really what we're looking for are those commons and rares, and we have gotten those in spades. There's a Power Frame. Okay, we've gotten 2 pretty good holos. Power Frame, actually a very solid card. When a face-up monster you control is targeted for an attack by a monster with a higher attack, target the attacking monster, negate the attack, and if you do, equip this card to that target. The equipped monster gains the difference in attack when this card resolves. Very, very cool card. Testudo Erit Newman is a very funny card. Bird of Roses. It's a pretty solid plant card, I guess. That's a very strange card. Oh, good. The 4th Battery Man Fuel Cell. That's what we wanted. Oh, Key Mouse. This is a card I'd love to see more of. The Lockcat Key Mouse and Chain Dog combination is very fun, and if you'll remember, won me an episode of Wave Motion Yu-Gi-Oh! There's a 2nd Key Mouse. Love to see it. The 5th Battery Man Fuel Cell. Okay, I'm very glad to have the card, but can we get something different? This has been such a weird opening. We've gotten, what, 3 holos? 3 super rares, 1 ultra rare. Very strange stuff. What can we get in this last pack, though? Not that. Ally of Justice Core Destroyer, however, is extremely good into light monster matchups. Just having a copy of this around is going to help us out in pretty much every matchup that features light monsters. Well, that was a bizarre opening, but I can't say we didn't get exactly what we wanted out of it. Let's see what we can get out of Gold Series 3. Just like when we did Gold Series 2, we are only opening 3 packs of this. The cards in here are interesting, but they're going to be significantly less interesting if we can guarantee that we get all of them. To start with, though, a 2nd Blackwinged Armwing is actually kind of nutty for us because it allows us to use multiple blizzards. My Body is a Shield, I think we already had 3 of. We're good on Shuras, we're good on Kalutes, we're good on Boras, and I think we're good on Black Whirlwinds, although I'm not totally sure about that. Sure about that? Oh yeah, Nova Summoner is also kind of a sick card for us to get. Mizuki. Mizuki's kind of hot. I'll love to see that. Mizuki improves our zombie decks considerably, such as they are. Exploder Dragon is also a cool thing for us to have. I don't know if we already had copies of this card, but all of our dragon decks improve drastically when Exploder Dragon's around. Oh! Austin CK is pointing out to me that I have now pulled 2 copies of Destiny Hero Malicious. I'm not sure what this card does for us, but it could do quite a bit. Magical Arm Shield is also just a very funny card. And last pack of Gold Series 3. There's a Stardust Dragon. Okay, now we have a win condition when it comes to level 8 synchro monsters that we did not have before. This is one of the best level 8s we could have gotten. And a second Mizuki is extremely cool for zombies. A lot of good cards here. We're also now full up on Shuras or Sirocco's and full up on Blizzards and Goblin zombies. This is a wild opening so far. I can't wait to see what we get out of Hidden Arsenal 2. All right, and for our last pack of the day, we are opening the full 30 packs of Hidden Arsenal 2. This is a set that's underwhelming in most progression series, but it contains a lot of just large guys, which is great for I Challenge You. There are a lot of interesting archetypes that also get their start here. I can't wait to see what we can get. Starting off with an Ally of Justice Field Marshal, this is a very difficult level 9 synchro to make. It's just like every other level 9 synchro, but this one is pretty solid. If this attacking card destroys a face-down defense position monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, draw one card, and it's a 2900. Gives us abilities to walk over really big guys. Speaking of really big guys, Mist Valley Falcon. If you know anything about the Edison Cube, you know that this card is bonkers good. I don't know how the AI is going to use it, but it is a 2000 dude. Second pack, this one's a little bit less exciting. Jurak Monoloff is an interesting idea. This card can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. If we have a deck that can pump up all of our dinosaurs or all of our tuners or all of our fires, this card can do a lot of field clearing. Also, our first Ice Barrier monster. Ooh, Naturia Leo Drake. This is a level 10 synchro, and it's just a level 10 Earth generic with 3000 attack, and that's its whole thing. A second Leo Drake, sure. There's our first Fabled monster. This is not really a deck I expect the AI to be able to use, so I'm glad that we're not seeing that many so far. A second Mist Valley Falcon, though, is great. Naturia Antjaw is also a really cute card. It basically is max C for Naturias, but it has to be face up on the field in order for it to work. Fabled Valkyrus. Requires a Fabled tuner, but is otherwise generic and an 8. It could work. Mist Valley Executor is just a power creep on Swift Birdman Joe. You know what? Naturia Spiderfang could be usable. It can't declare an attack unless your opponent activated a card or effect this turn. It's just a 2100 normal summonable. I'll take it. Hey, there's Duloran. Has to target other face-up cards. That's very helpful. It requires water monsters, which is a little less helpful. Jurak Giganoto is a level 7 with 2100 attack, not a great start, takes a tuner and one or more non-tuner dinosaur type monsters. All face-up Jurak monsters you control gain 200 attack for each Jurak monster in your graveyard. This is actually a genuine win condition in I Challenge You. I bet there's a world where we can just put a level 3 tuner on the board with Jurak monsters and be perfectly fine. I'm hoping, I don't remember if Velo and, if Jurak Velo and Jurak Gwaiba are in here, but if they are, I'd love to see those at super rare. Velo is in this set. Oh boy, I hope I pull some. Ooh, Windmill Genex. If I remember correctly, this is like one of the few good Genex synchros. This card gains 300 attack for each face down spell or trap card on the field. You can send one card from your hand to the graveyard to select and destroy one face down spell or trap. Never mind. As long as we're not playing spell or trap cards, this card could be good, but since it will activate its effect as many times as possible, it might not be quite as good. Jurak Tyrannus at Secret Rare, level 7 with 2500. You contribute a dinosaur monster. This card gains 500 attack. Oh no, it contributed itself. Genex Blast Fan is pretty cool. There's Mist Valley Thunderlord. This was considered a pretty decent card in its time. Once per turn you can, quick effect, target one other card you control, return that target to the hand, and if you do, this card gains 500 attack until the end of the turn. Can go up to 3100 and recycle spell traps. Worm Queen is pretty cute. If we don't get Worm King, this is an okay summon off of W Nebula Meteorite when we get to Extreme Victory. Hey, our first real Naturia Synchro, Naturia Beast. This card is very strong. It is an Earth Tuner and an Earth Non-Tuner, and if it is face up on the field and a spell card is activated, you can send the top 2 cards of your deck to the graveyard to negate that activation and destroy it. If you're familiar with Yu-Gi-Oh, you probably know Naturia Beast. This card is nutty. Thermal Genex. This is also our third Jurak Protops. I would love to see some Velos in our last 13 packs. This is the world's worst monarch. They were like, hey, What if we take a Monarch effect and we make it conditional on tributing a Gen X monster, and we put it on a monster with 100 less attack than a Monarch? Surely that will make this deck meta. Hey, there's another Spider Fang. Hey, there's our first Jirac Vela. When it's destroyed by battle, it lets you summon another Jirac. That's pretty good, right? Jiracs are good. Gen X Solar has some of the sickest art in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's a shame that its effect is real bad. Oh, Mist Valley Apex Avian. That's a good card for us to have one of. Geogenics. Hey, and there's a second Jirac Vela. We love to see it. If we can see 3 and then 3 Gwaiba when we get to Hidden Arsenal 4, I will be a very happy camper. Oh, and there's our third Vela. We've gotten pretty much everything I could possibly want, except maybe a Barkion out of this set. Would love to see that out of our last 5 packs. A second Field Marshal. Surely we will use that card. Second Cosmic Gateway. Sure, why not? Another Gen X Army. Yeah. That's a Synchro Monster. It's in fact a level 6 Earth Synchro Monster. For our last pack of Hidden Arsenal 2, Thermal Gen X. That does, however, make our third Gen X Blast Fan. So that deck could be online once we get to Hidden Arsenal 4, as long as we receive our 3 Birdman. We'll save this to the collection and let's get deck building. We're gonna have to do a lot of it tonight. Wait, Barkion isn't in this set? Oh, sick. That's nice. For our first contender of the evening, we are facing up against General Reposti's AI Ancient Gear. This deck is very, very cool. It uses spell monsters and trap monsters to make sure it always has material around for some of the big Ancient Gear tribute summons. It also uses Ancient Gear Castle and Gear Town in order to get those tribute summon costs lower. It can use Soul Exchange to tribute off its opponent's monsters, and it can even polymerization into Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem. What an incredible thing to see that would be. This is a little bit of a titan of a deck with monsters with this much attack power and all of our battle traps being non-existent. We're going to have to come up with 2 decks for the Delinquent Duo choice that can avoid both of those problems. For our first option, using the Future Visions technology of Morphtronic Staplen, we are bringing back the Morphtronic deck. This is a fan favorite and a me favorite that was originally created by Double and then modified over time. We've replaced a couple of the battle tricks with things like Defusion, which allows us to take out Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem. And then, of course, Staplen can survive battle, even if it's attacked by an Ancient Gear monster. We may take a little bit of damage in the process, but at least it will live. This deck is really, really cool, and by way of Morphtronic Bind, has the power to lock down the game until we have enough monsters on the board with enough attack that we can start taking over. Notably, Labyrinth of Nightmare isn't good against Ancient Gear Golem, but against basically all of the other Ancient Gear monsters is pretty solid. Our other choice is an I Challenge You 5Ds. I mean, it's just a 5Ds classic. It's Blackwings. Our Future Vision technology for this one is Blackwing Sharnga the Waning Moon. If there is a 2,000 or more attack point monster on the board, it can special summon itself. It's a level 2 tuner, which makes it very good for going into level 6 Synchro monsters. And if you have a Blackwing Synchro monster on the board, you can banish it from the graveyard to destroy a card on your opponent's side of the field. Pretty solid. We're also bringing in Electric Viruses to steal some Ancient Gear monsters and maybe get in for some OTKs. Neospatian Grand Mole to bounce them back. If they're going to be using tribute summons, it's going to take them a hell of a lot of resources to get those monsters onto the board. And Acidic Downpour, which makes their monsters lose 500 attack and gain 400 defense, which means that if they're going to be putting their monsters on the board in attack position, we're going to be able to get over them pretty easily. Also, hilarious card, Royal Surrender, coming back from the Lost Millennium as a tech to take out the Lone Wolf. In this case, is going to deal very well with the trap monsters, and Malice Dispersion for a very similar thing. Let's see what folks choose. Well, it looks like by a slim margin, the fan favorite Morphtronics has won, and so I had to ask chat, which is more powerful, Ancient Gears or modern technology? And it looks like 79% is after that modern technology. It's the big mechs versus the little dude bros. The little guys. The big guys versus the little guys. We're on the underdog side tonight. Let's see how Borgerbot does. Let the games begin. All right, starting off with an L in the rock, paper, scissors. Who is actually going to start? We never know. There's the Gear Town. Gear Town is dangerous, especially with Ancient Gear Castle in play. They don't have one of the 1 tributes in hand, otherwise they would have been able to do that this turn with Gear Town. We have Morphtronic Map, a field spell of our own. Activate that Morphtronic Map, summon Remoten. They're going to get the Ancient Gear Castle. If that's a bind in the back row, we're in very good shape. Draw for turn, main phase. End phase, they do not have a summonable monster. That's great for the Morphtronics. We just get to normal summon another guy. There's a Morphtronic mix-up, takes out both the Gear Town and the Ancient Gear Castle. The Gear Town does not get destroyed. Interesting. We're synchroing into Power Tool Dragon, and Power Tool Dragon is very, very powerful. We're going to go Morphtronic Bind, but we don't have a Morphtronic to use with it. We're going to get donked by the Ancient Gear Golem, the ultimate Ancient Gear Golem, and this is dangerous because we don't have a Morphtronic in play. And the Morphtronics that we can summon, we would probably set face down. The ultimate Ancient Gear Golem not getting deterred in the slightest. What is going on here? This is troubling, to say the least. There's Morphtronic Repair Unit. Now, Morphtronic Repair Unit is crucial here. It means that Morphtronic Bind is now active. They don't have a single monster that can deal with... Oh. Well. That was something. It is curious. So I did notice that Power Tool Dragon did not activate its effect. If we drew into 2 equip spells, I think we would still have the ability to activate it. Not really sure what happened there. We'll see in game 3. 2. We're only on game 2. Game 2. It's a very strong start for Morphtronics, but it didn't end up working out in the end. Cellphon's going to activate its effect. We're going to roll a 4. Can we get a Morphtronic? We're going to get a lot of back row, but no Morphtronic monsters. Set 2, let's see if we got the Bind. Bind is great. We love to see double Bind is even better. This insulates us against a couple of cards. Soul Exchange is not one of them. There's the Ancient Gear Castle. There's the Ancient Gear Castle. They're going to set 2, and the Soul Exchange is going to whiff. There's a Metal Reflect Slime. Metal Reflect Slime is very strong. It's a little bit of a difficulty against our deck just because it's got a lot of defense. There goes the Cellphon. There's a Staplin. Staplin's a great hit for us. There's also a Radion. Unfortunately, we're going to go for the Staplin instead of the Radion, but now we already have the Radion on the board. We're going to attack into the Embodiment of Apophis, and Morphtronic Cellphone is going to activate its effect for nada. There's the Morphtronic Mix-Up. Morphtronic Mix-Up is going to be great under these circumstances. They're going to send away the Ancient Gear Castle. I just remembered that the opponent chooses a card to send to the graveyard with Morphtronic Mix-Up. Is that right? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, they've got some of the Spirit, but Power Tool Dragon can get over the Metal Reflect Slime if we have a double tool C&D in rotation. We're going to look for a Morphtronic card. We're going to get a Morphtronic card. There's the Borden. Borden is pretty good, but unfortunately not great when we have it in defense position. Now we have a billion Morphtronics, though, so Morphtronic Bind is very well insulated for us. This is a little bit of a pass turn situation, as they say. Let's see if that Power Tool Dragon is going to activate to go for the double tool C&D. I'm struggling tonight. What did we get? We did get the double tool C&D. This is crucial because this allows us to get over the Metal Reflect Slime. Cellphon can go to attack. The Staplin can go into attack as well. And now Staplin is huge with this Radion on the board. This is just the end of the game. We have a gigantic board. Power Tool Dragon is going to do its thing. Let's see what we can do in this battle phase. We can do everything. In goes the Cellphon, in goes the Borden, and in goes the Radion for game. God, I love this deck. This is a very strange match to commentate because it feels like neither Borger bot nor the enemy bot really knows what to do with themselves, and it's all coming down to that all-important Game 3. Who's going to begin? We're going to start off with the Ancient Gears. There's Fiend Sanctuary. Fiend Sanctuary is kind of cute. However, it's not great when you don't have an Ancient Gear in hand that you contribute summon. There's the Terraforming. Gets us the Morphtronic map early. Let's see if we've got a Cellphon in our opening hand. Gonna normal summon. There's the Cellphon. Let's see if we can get a 6. We got the 6. Can we get a Morphtronic? We can get a Morphtronic. I'm just speaking it into existence. And the one off the top is Radion, but we're going to go for Scope and into Catastor. Catastor is a phenomenal card against this deck because it outs every single monster that they have. As long as they don't Soul Exchange it, They double soul exchange it. That does whiff 2 soul exchanges, and it totally whiffs. The Catastor is now very secure on board. Soul exchange is effectively their only out besides maybe Karaz, but even Karaz is going to have to tribute summon for it. We're going to go to end phase. They're going to go for turn. Let's see what they've got. They've got a terraforming. They can go for Gear Town now. Gear Town can get them one of their bigger guys on board. However, if they don't have one of those bigger guys, it really doesn't matter. I did not plan for how easy it was for this deck to brick. Remoten is going to add from deck to hand a Morphtronic monster. Selphon is going to get us a Scopin most likely, or potentially a Borden, or potentially a Staplen. It's the Staplen. We're going to go into Mistworm. This is not ideal because we lose our Catastor here, which was our major power player, but they are extremely low on life points. It is going to take them a miracle to come back into this game. There's a Gear Town. Gear Town set is not going to do it. Mistworm is going to not bring it home because of the Metal Reflect Slime. We love to see it. Oh, they sent the Metal Reflect Slime. Let's go. Oh, those AI decision-making skills. It works out real nicely for us. What a weird goddamn match. Our next candidate on the ladder is Vendread. This is a deck by Rescue Rex. Rescue Rex submitted Vendread. This is a deck that summons ritual monsters. I don't really know what else it does. I'm not going to bother to read these cards. I would be spending like 2 hours here, so I guess we're going to find out in game. The one thing that I do know is that it requires a lot of recruiters to go off, and it likes putting cards in the graveyard, and I said one thing and then I counted out 3 things, and it summons ritual monsters, and that's all that I need to know. Now, for the Delinquent Duo, I gave chat 2 options. One was the revamped Blackwing deck. Instead of using our level 2 tuner, we're actually going to bring in Chris the Crack of Dawn. It's a better normal summon than a lot of the other ones that we have. It can be special summoned from the hand if you have another Blackwing, and is great if we use Krebens with our double emergency teleport and double telekinetic power well. This deck is really fun looking. I'd love to see it work. However, chat tied in its vote 3 times in a row for Delinquent Duo, and so I had to try out the deck that I think is a little bit more funky, which is this here Quick Draw deck by Double. We're going to get to see the Blackwings eventually, but this Quick Draw deck is wild, and I think the lower down on the ladder we pit it, the more likely it is to go off. The plan is to use Quick Draw Synchron to go into either Nitro Warrior or into Turbo Warrior, but also uses Debris Dragon to get free Iron Chain Dragons. The other big thing that this deck does is summon Catastor. Catastor not quite as good against Vendreads, but is still pretty good into their recruiters. And finally, the biggest boss monster of them all, Beast Machine King Barbaros Ur, nearly untouchable in this matchup. Chat couldn't choose, and so I chose this for them. Let's see how it goes. Today we witness a classic battle between Shotgun and Zombie, and it looks like chat thinks that Shotgun wins 100% of the time. I have no idea how well that deck's going to work. There's a lot of weirdness going on in there, but I can't wait to see. Let the games begin. All right, what are we starting with? There's the Sonic Bird. Sonic Bird will get the Vendread Origin, or is it just Vendread Origin? I frankly have read very few of these cards ever. There's the Tuning. Tuning is great because it gets us our Quick Draw very early on. Quick Draw is going to discard and is going to do absolutely nada during the main phase. Fortunately, they've only summoned monsters with 1400 attack, so what's the worst that can happen? We're going to draw for turn. There's a Debris Dragon. Debris Dragon's going to also do nada. There goes the Vendread monster. It's going to reveal Vendread Origin to bring itself back. I guess that's the way that this card works. They now have a level 6 worth of material, and they've got Sonic Bird. We're going to Draining Shield the Sonic Bird. Is anything going to happen in this game? We've got a Debris Dragon. We've got a Quick Draw. We have the materials to make Iron Chain Dragon. Okay, I was hoping we would use the Quick Draw rather than the Debris Dragon, but you know what? The Debris Dragon was the bigger liability on the board. There's the Vendread Origin. There's the Vendread Big Guy. There's the Plague Spreader Zombie. They're all going to go into battle phase, and we are going to Wicked Rebirth, targeting our Iron Chain Dragon, and that's perfectly fine. We've got a 2500 guy on the board, I suppose. We're going to normal summon the Dark Bug. There's the Turbo Warrior. Turbo Warrior isn't big enough to get over the big Vendread monster, but it is big enough to deal a hefty chunk of damage. There goes the Vendread big dude, getting the Vendread other big dude, slightly less big dude. The main Vendread ritual monster. There's Vendread Knights. I don't know what this card does. It discards a zombie, adds a Vendread, I imagine. We're going to use the Plague Spreader Zombie to summon Plague Spreader Zombie. We're going to summon the Hounds. I love this card, by the way. Hound Horde is just a bunch of good boys. Just a bunch of very good boys. We're going to Tunings, add the Quick Draw to hand. There goes the Machine King Barbaros Ur. Little unfortunate there. Turbo Warrior is going to attack in, and we're going to be on the bigger monsters now. Vendread Knights is going to discard the Vendread Ritual. Incredible stuff. There goes the Zombie Skull. They're going to synchro into Doom Kaiser Dragon. Doom Kaiser Dragon has Jack all for attack points. Wow, this Vendread deck really not doing a lot of Vendreading. We're going to attack in with the Iron Chain Dragon. Iron Chain Dragon will get negated. There goes the Turbo Warrior. And somehow this quick draw deck that should not work in I Challenge You is working very well. There's the Hound Horde off of the Vendread Knights. Hound Horde is going to activate, discarding Hound Horde, and we're going to pass the turn. Surely this deck has other synchro monsters in it. There's the Fusion Sword Murasame Blade. A hell of an equip to Turbo Warrior in particular. We're going to go to end phase, and it feels like they're not really going to have much to do from here. Vendread Knight's going to discard a Plague Spreader. Plague Spreader going to add the Vendread dude. There goes the Hound Horde, discarding the Vendread dude, and we now just have a Hound Horde on the board. There's the quick drop. There's the Iron Chain. Iron Chain gets negated. I have no idea how this deck is still going, or how this game is still going this long. This is truly an incredible game. This is really what we come to I Challenge You to witness. One deck doing nothing and the other deck doing slightly less nothing. Iron Chain Dragon direct for game. I suppose Quick Draw did take game one from that. I suppose. Let's go to game two. Let's see a slightly more convincing game. All right, Hunter of Black Feathers is not a great open. We'd rather see this after they start summoning zombie monsters. They're going to open on the Revendread Ritual. Revendread Origin, going to Revendread Origin for Revendread Slayer. Attacking the Slayer. I feel like nothing was accomplished over the course of this turn. We're going to Revendread Origin again. We're going to summon out Battle Lord. Trap cards is going to be the call off the Battle Lord. They're going to attack into the Hunter of Black Feathers. They're going to Bacon Saver themselves. I didn't know you could do that. Hunter of Black Feathers is going to decide to discard the Bacon Saver? What is going on in this matchup? I feel like I'm being griefed by these two decks. There's Vendread Battle Lord, or the Vendread Origin for Revendread Slayer. Now we're going to get to see some things happen. Revendread Slayer going to go up to 2,700. Now we have a Plague Spreader and two Vendread monsters on the board. We've used up our Hunters of Black Feathers, but we can go into Nitro Warrior. Nitro Warrior is bigger than any of these monsters on the board. Battle Lord is going to add a Battle Lord from deck to hand and send away a Hound Horde. Now we're in an interesting situation. They've got a Revendread Slayer, but it's only got 2,700 attack to the Nitro Warrior, but this Nitro Warrior is the only thing that Quick Draw has available to it. There goes the Hound Horde, there goes the Zombie Necro Dragon, and suddenly we're back in business. Zombie Necro Dragon has 2,900 attack. We're going to Synchro Deflection, sending away the Revendread Origin. We're just going to make this Zombie Necro Dragon huge, but we're going to sack off the Zombie Necro Dragon for Battle Lord. No, wait! Hold up, that's a bad idea. We're going to attack him with a Nitro Warrior. Nitro Warrior's effect resolves. Battle Lord is going to activate its effect to add to hand, but now they've got an attack position Plague Spreader Zombie that's going to get absolutely donked by the Nitro Warrior, and suddenly the tides have been turned once again. They just keep turning. There goes the Hound Horde. Hound Horde's going to discard the Revendread monster, and it's just a Hound Horde versus the world at this point. I'm not sure that this deck has any way of coming back from a single 2,800 attack point monster. This deck has difficulty dealing with, I'm trying to think of a 2,800 vanilla, and it's just not coming to me. This game has just broken my brain. We've seen some of the heights of Borgerbot's capability in this season so far, and I feel like we are seeing not that this game. This is a weird one for sure. There goes the Nitro Warrior attacking, and if they don't have a monster next turn, they're in a lot of trouble. There goes Vendread Knights. They're going to add the I don't know what those cards are. Revenants are going to attack in with the Revenants. Vendread Knights is going to activate and do nothing to my knowledge. Now we've just got a Nitro Warrior on the board and a Hunter with Black Feathers. That's going to do it because Hunter with Black Feathers has just... Oh, wait! The thing revives itself. The thing did the revive. Okay, well, they're not totally dead yet. They're going to discard to add themselves the Strigas. That what they're called? Strigas. There goes a Hunter with Black Feathers is going to die off. Now Nitro Warrior cannot kill them this turn. Nitro Warrior is just an attack position guy. We can normal summon the Quillbolt Hedgehog. Resounding success on the side of Borgerbot this time around. We're going to Vendread Knights. We're going to add the Hound Horde. Hound Horde is an okay card, but it's not very good against Nitro Warrior, and 800 attack on the Quillbolt Hedgehog is going to be enough. We're going to use the Machine King Barbaros just to add insult to injury. What on earth was that? Wow, what a weird episode this has been. We've seen a lot of cool things, but I feel like I haven't really seen what's going on here. I feel like I'm more confused than I was at the beginning of the episode, but that's just I challenge you for you, isn't it? I'm looking forward to what we can see next week. Perhaps I can choose to play Blackwings. Why don't we play Blackwings next week? Next week, we have a few more packs to open up. I don't remember what they are off the top of my head, but they're always bangers. In this series, it's always a banger. Go forward in humble confidence, my friends, and I'll see you next time.